Hello, this is Reverend Twyla Reece. I'm coming to you from Unity of Merced in Merced, California. Our physical address is 305 West 26th Street in Merced. Our website is unitymerced.org, and you can find all of our previous messages, our inspirational messages, on our website, just so you know. We are a Unity spiritual community, and therefore we do operate on love offerings. So if you are ever guided to support this ministry, know that you can find the information either on the website, or if you're on Facebook, you can see it there, and also on YouTube. And know that our desire and our intention is to first and always be a conduit of love and inspiration for each and every person, to find a pathway to knowing more of the God of their understanding. And I have with me today Lisa Blanton, our songbird from San Ynez. Am I saying that right, Lisa? San Ynez Valley here in the Central Coast of California. I'm so happy. Lisa was one of my musicians when I was ministering in Longmont, Colorado. That's where we first met. And she would be with us on Sunday. And I just love you, Lisa, so much, and your beautiful music. So thank you for being here with us today. So let us begin by becoming centered. And I'm going to read to you. I usually read from Unity's Daily Word magazine, which you can find either at unity.org or unityworldheadquarters.org. But today I'm reading to you from the Guide for Spiritual Living of Science of Mind. So, and this reading is actually from Tuesday, October 13th. I love this so much that I wanted to share it with you. Let me make sure I do have us where we need to be. So find that place within you where you are connected to the God of your understanding. And just gently breathe. I'm needing to do that for myself. I've been kind of busy and running around. And we're going to breathe from our heart. We're going to find that coherence with universal heartbeat. So just imagine that your heart is doing the breathing for your body. Breathing deeply, listening, and feeling. And again, from Science of Mind magazine, the heart of the world. Reverend Johnny Coleman said, I held on to God's promise. I will never leave you or forsake you. To what degree are we willing to give up every race, prejudice, every thought that sets us apart intellectually and spiritually from others? We say God is love, but how do we know God is love? Love only knows and comprehendeth love, said John Greenleaf Whittier. There is no other way. Are we willing to let go of our animosities or dislikes? Love cannot occupy the space we give to disharmony. The two do not meet. They do not mix. And so we must die daily. The cells of our bodies do. I think more and more there is no such thing as heart trouble. There is only a troubled heart. There is no such thing as a disease per se. It is the end result of what is wrong with the whole world. And I do not believe that even the individual suffers by ourselves. In the old order, they used to say that our sins will find you out. And then the new order says, this person is being tried and error has them. It is a cold-blooded analysis of nothing. Evil doesn't belong to any of us. The lie that a liar tells doesn't belong to the liar. Even modern psychiatry separates the neurosis from the neurotic. We will have to learn to see back of all this kind of thinking to the one central fact we are trying to comprehend, that there is an evolutionary will pushing us on and upward. There is something within us, like the prodigal son, that never forgets. And this is from Ernest Holmes' Seminar Lectures. The heart of the world. You are the heart of the world. Each and every one of us are the heart of the world. I hold on to God's promise, I will never leave you or forsake you. And in that knowing, we come into this present moment, into this realization of the God presence within you. We pray knowing that we have a world that works for everyone, even though we can't always see that. With a soft and gentle breath, we affirm the goodness and the wholeness of all life, the goodness and wholeness of each and every breath of each and every person on planet Earth. You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. And this is your song. Take it away, Lisa.
This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and wide. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy shrine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as true and high as mine. My country's skies are bluer than the ocean, and sunlight beams in clover leaf and pine. But other lands have sunlight too, and clover, and skies are everywhere as blue as mine. So hear my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for their land and for mine. This is my prayer, O God of all earth's kingdoms. Your kingdom come, on earth your will be done. O God, be lifted up till all shall serve you, and hearts united learn to live as one. So hear my prayer, O God of all the nations. Myself I give a song of peace for all lands and for mine.
Oh, beautiful. This is my song. This is my song. And what is that line, Lisa? O God of all the nations.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take a moment and breathe into the frequency of that music and Lisa's beautiful voice. In this moment, we send love to our world, to our planet. And I invite you to open your heart even more and feel the love for our world and for each and every person, for each and every animal, for each and every molecule of living breath of God. That is all of humanity. That is all of nature. That is all of life. Last week, I started a series of talks using Bishop Michael Curry's book, Love is the Way, Holding Onto Hope in Troubling Times. Perhaps you can see that if you're looking for this book. It's a book that touched me deeply when I first heard Bishop Curry speak. And he is a Black man, a person of color who grew up during the 50s and 60s and being politically active in the 70s. He has a direct lineage to his ancestors being held as slaves, not very many generations back from when he was born. And in this book, he traces that lineage. He traces some of his genealogy. And as a man of faith, regardless of anything that he has experienced in life or has seen the experiences that others have had, he is so clearly intent that love is truly the way. That love is truly the way. In these interesting times before the elections of the United States of America and everything that is going on, more and more, as if we don't have that, no matter what generation it is, no matter what year it is, no matter what day it is, no matter what breath it is, we always have the opportunity to come from that awareness and presence of love. Even when you're feeling really unhappy, even when you're feeling angry, even when you're feeling really sad, even in the midst of celebration, to raise the elevation, the frequency of love to a higher level. For it is through love that we have been taught and we have been shown, and that I know many of us have even experienced. That it is through that love where we can find a deeper breath and where we can find more peace and we can find more of God. Bishop Curry talks about love. Love is a verb. Love is a verb. It's about action. It's about action. He says, we don't always feel transcendent. We don't always have a chorus of angels in our ear. But there is good news. If God is love and love is action, then get out there and do it. Get out there and receive it. It is up to us to be love in action, either in really huge and large and wonderful, glorious ways, or in more simple and quiet ways. But love is an action. Do it and receive it. This week's chapter is called Looking for God. Looking for God. How do you find God's love? And that's where he goes with that, is that love is an action, and that in order for us to find God in those moments when we feel God is not there, God has not moved. God is principle. God is principle, unchanging, always present, stability. There is an order in the universe that pulls us forward, an evolutionary impulse that moves us forward. A friend of mine shared something, said, where did I put that? God doesn't speak English. God is a frequency. God doesn't speak English. God is a frequency, an ever present, always available frequency. We are never, ever, ever outside of God. Again, it is we who close down. It is we who become apathetic, perhaps, or overwhelmed, just flat out tired some days, some lifetimes. But God is always there, nearer than breathing, closer than hands and feet. God is always, always present. Bishop Curry, at the beginning of the chapter, Lisa, I almost asked if you would sing this, but he quotes the old hymn, the old medieval hymn, Ubi Caritas, et Amor. Ubi Caritas. Our vocalist Kelly Lowe will often sing that for me when we've used that frequently in many of our services. We use it in Taizé services, chants, Ubi Caritas. And the translation of that is, where true love is found, God is there. Where true love is found, God is there. Lisa, do you happen to have that on the tip of your tongue? And it's fine if you don't.
There's a lot of versions of it, but Ubi Caritas et Amor, Deus Ibi est.
Yeah. So beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you. Where God is found, where true love is found, God is there. Where true love is found, God is there. And even when you are not in that moment of true love, even when you're in a moment of lackadaisical disinterest, God is still there, because God is that constant. So looking for God, it is up to us to get up and move our feet. Pray and move your feet. One of the references that Bishop Curry talks about is John McCain. And let me read this to you. So the late Senator John McCain spoke about how prayer got him through imprisonment in Vietnam. He said as a kid, he had gone to Episcopal High School in Alexandria, Virginia. The priest led the kids through morning prayers every single day. He said the prayers then because he had to. And yet, when he was stuck in that POW cell, staring at four walls with no way of knowing what misery the days and weeks and months ahead held, he started every day with prayer. It kept him going. He rested in God's hands. Surviving a brutality and a torture that I don't wish on anyone. And yet Senator McCain had the faith and the awareness that his very survival depended on him taking action. The only action that he could take. The only action that he could take in a prisoner of war camp cell was to pray, to every day to pray. That is God in action. That is love in action. That is taking responsibility for our individual lives and for the lives of the world, of the people of the world. And then Bishop Curry goes on to say, because he's talking about action here, about taking action, do it and receive it. So he goes on to say, in the Bible, after the crucifixion, Mary Magdalene weeps, hollers, and screams. Christ had saved her from demons, and now he was dead. Don't you love how this guy writes? He's so awesome. Then she stops screaming and gets busy. She wasn't feeling any better, no, but she had a job to do. She had to go to Christ's tomb to carry out the rituals of faith, and so she went. She prepared the oil, then she was set to anoint the body, and what happened? She stumbled headlong into the miracle of the resurrection. And Bishop Curry says, I swear to you, she did not see that coming. If she hadn't been going through the motions, she would have missed the miracle. She would have been home in bed, depressed and senseless. Instead, she rested in God's hands and witnessed the impossible. How to find God? We find God by allowing ourselves to move in whatever way we can, in whatever small way you can. Don't let yourself be limited. I know that some of us may very well feel that we have limitations, that we can't reach beyond, but it's not true. If we are willing to become still and allow ourselves to become the ears of God, we can find a way to let the action of love work through us. Even if it is just a simple thank you. It's not a simple thank you. Meister Eckhart famously has said, if the only prayer you ever pray is thank you, that is enough. There is always a way to reach out and to find more of God. And so in closing, I want to share with you how Bishop Curry ends this chapter. For one thing, he talks about the philosopher Howard Thurman. and how he wrote a book on mysticism. And he had an early brush with mysticism when with his mother in 1910. They were outside on a hilltop waiting for Halley's Comet to zip through the sky. 1910. There was no light pollution. Can you imagine being in just the pure darkness with the night sky and the stars? And all of a sudden, he says he and his mother watched the comet fill the dark. He and his mother watched the comet fill the darkness with light as it made its journey across the sky. Thurman felt terror for a moment. Said, after all, for weeks, everyone had been talking about the possibly terrible aftermath of the comet falling from the sky. But his mother was calm and reassuring him that God would keep them safe. And in that moment, something shifted in Thurman and the fear left him. He felt one with the comet and a sudden awareness and awe of what created and controlled the comet. In reflection, Thurman gave a name to this awareness. He called it the giveness of God. The giveness of God. I find that phrase a little awkward to say myself. But the giving of God. The giving of God. What is God giving you today? God's right there. Remember, God is principle. God is pure and total love. We need only to open up our minds and our hearts to be able to see it, to hear it, to taste it, to love it. And then Bishop Curry says, I'll leave you with the hymn, His eye is on the sparrow. His eye is on the sparrow. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. For his eye is on the sparrow, and I know God watches me. God's love is everywhere. And that includes loving you. So Lisa, will you close us out?
Why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why should my heart be lonely, longing for heaven and home? When Jesus is my portion, my constant friend is He. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. For His eye is on the sparrow, and I
And we go out knowing that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is truly, truly well, and all is truly love. And so it is. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.